Hello friends, welcome back to the sim and another video. I am able to record again, and today we are going to fly the 146 Professional, one of my favorite aircraft in the sim. This is the 200 variant. We are wearing Transavia colors today, and we will be departing from Tenerife North for our destination Marrakesh. The aircraft is cold and dark right now. We will refuel. I'm not gonna use GSX. We can, but yeah, it has its pros and cons. So just for the sake of the time and keeping the video to a reasonable time, we will just use the EFB to load the aircraft. Start from cold and dark, board our passengers, and we'll be on our way. Without further ado, let's jump into the cockpit and let's get things going. Alright, welcome to the cockpit of the 146 Professional. Everything is cold and dark as you see. We will start with powering the aircraft. We have ground power connected. We'll check a couple things and then we will introduce battery power. Landing gear is down, flaps are retracted, speed brake is stowed, throttles are in the cutoff position. Going to the overhead, wipers are turned off, fuel pumps are off, starter switch in starter master is off. Going up, all the hydraulic pumps are off and all the avionics master switches are off. At this point, we can introduce battery power to the aircraft by turning the batteries 1 and 2 on. And if we check the voltages, both batteries are reading around 28 volts. We have external power available. Let's go ahead and put external power on, and we'll continue with our flows from top to bottom, left to right. Over here, while we have external power, we'll put the AP master, avionics master, and yaw damper master on. Brake fans will go to auto. Anti-skid will go to auto. Lift spoilers will go to on, yellow and green. Pumps will stay off. We can turn the AC pump on to test our hydraulic system. It's pressurizing. We can turn the PTU on, and that's gonna pressurize the green system. Apparently both our hydraulic systems are working, so we can put them back to off. Coming down, nothing to do here. Fuel pumps will stay off. Nothing to do here. We will tie the buses and arm the standby inverter and the generator. Nothing to do here except putting galley power to on so that they can start preparing some hot drinks. Runway exit light up. Emergency exit lights for the flight deck will go to arm. Over here, APU will remain off for the time being. Nothing to do with the engine ATIs. We go up. We will test the APU fire. And extinguishers for APU and engines. They are all working. We'll also do the engine fire tests while we are here. And the smoke test, which should be displayed down below. Yes. And stall warning as the last thing. I'm not gonna do the rest of the tests. But, while we are here, we can put the no smoking to auto. Cabin emergency lights to arm, and we can turn on our nav lights. Air conditioning panel, nothing to do here yet. We don't have bleed air. Same down below, packs, air supply. We can get some lights on. And we can test our lights. Make sure they are all in working condition, which they are. Over here, we'll turn the windshield heat on. Ice detection switch to on, and the rest will stay off. Down below, we'll test our flight mode initiation lights. They are all working. We'll put the master warning system to armed position. We will be flying with GPS flight plan, so we will switch our nav source to RNAV. And we will turn our DME and radios. To do here just yet. And finally we will power on the TMS. and do a self-test. And we will set our flex temperature to 40 degrees and the TMS can be powered off. Alright, next up is to center our flight plan. Position initialization, we can't do anything here. This FMC is still a placeholder or a substitute to the real one that was in this aircraft. I hope Just Flight is still working on this. We'll move on to the next page. And yeah, the Ks are not active, so we'll go to the flight plan directly. Our departure is Golf Charlie X-Ray Oscar. Our destination is Golf Mike Mike X-Ray Marrakesh. Our flight number, we are Transavia Tango Victor Foxtrot 3204. We'll plug this in here and we will select our departure. We will be departing runway 30 via the Cora 7 Juliet departure. Let's go back to the flight plan. Next page. Our first waypoint after our departure is via an airway, Uniform Golf 5, and that will take us to Sanso. Sanso, we will take another airway, Uniform Golf 6. Is it 664? Yeah, it's 664. 664. This airway will take us to ADM intersection. It should be that top one here. From there, we will take another airway, Uniform Golf 850, and that will take us to Lizra. From Lizra, that's our arrival. We'll go select our arrival. We will be doing a VOR DME arc to runway 28 via Lizra for Alpha departure, arrival, I'm sorry, with a Delta 126 Tango transition. Execute this. Go back to the legs page to make sure we don't have any discontinuities. We do have one here. And we do have one here. I want to show one thing here. Let me just pull Navigraph and hopefully my flight plan is still here. I'm not sure if this syncs with the app, Navigraph app I have. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. On our arrival, if you see here, after this MX283 waypoint, we are making a very sharp turn to Delta 126 Tango. Instead, I'd like to go from Napo to here directly. So I am going to make that modification on my flight plan routing by selecting this and pasting it over the MX283 and execute this. This should conclude our flight plan routing. Let's go back to the next page. And we have a 17,000 and above, so that can be our initial climb. Let's just set that here. Oh, that's too much. And we will arm that. Anyway, we will deal with that later on. I'm not sure why we cannot. Oh, because I don't have the flight directors on. Now we can arm it. Yes, there we go. Forgot to turn flight directors on. The frequencies on our departure, we have the ILS from our departure airport 116.2. We will put it to active just as a secondary source, and then we will put the Tenerife VOR 117.7 to standby here and active on our nav radio too. These are just additional nav sources just to make sure we will be able to follow this in the event of RNAV failure. Let's go back and let's just fetch our OFP from SimBrief and take a look at the METAR. QNH is 1021 at our current location, so 1021. We will set that. Let's go back and let's load our aircraft by importing our flight plan. We are expecting 81 passengers and little bit of cargo. Okay, so that's all done. QNH is set. TMS we have looked at. Down below where the radar can go to standby. Yaw damper can be turned on. I'll throw in a transponder code even though we are not using ATC today. 1253, enter. Brake temperature display can be turned on. And we can get some lights here as well as for the captain instruments and the co-pilot instruments if we do this. Alright, so everything is pretty much done and we can request boarding. Our door is open and we can be on our way. This is a very fast-paced setup. I didn't go over the full procedure to test or set up the aircraft, but we know we have checklists. We can just do our checklist: flight deck safety, landing gear down with the radar off, transponder standby, airbags flaps up, nose making on, level light on, bat 1 and 2 on. We have done this. Parking brake is on, master switches are on, ground ignition we don't need that, anti-skid on, lift spoilers, AC/DC bus ties, inverters, generators are off, galley power is on, APU generator to on. We haven't done that part yet. Let's just do that. APU generator to on, and we can start the APU. Why my fuel pumps are turned on? Okay. Oh, we know why. Because when I do this, yes, okay, that's the VDGS that I was trying to set up here. Is also tied to the fuel pumps, so I have to keep an eye on that. We'll turn the inner pump on. We'll start the APU because we will need it eventually to cool the cabin down. APU generator is on. Fuel pump left inner, engine fire handles are in. We tested the things. We have APU on start. Landing gear indicators. NWS is tested. We have done all of this. Now we can just wait for the APU to spool up, and we should see APU available message somewhere here, or it should go online immediately. Is it on now? APU power available. Generator is offline because we are still on AC power. If I turn on this external power, APU gen will go online. I can turn APU ARM packs on and eventually disconnect the GPU from the aircraft. Alright, while we have APU running, let's request boarding from GSX. Right, let's request boarding.
Boarding requested.
Use the GSX choice, and that should start getting our passengers to us. We probably have to open the cargo doors and the aft passenger door. We are boarding the passengers. Cabin temperature looks okay. It's on auto, and we are getting close to leaving the gate. What else? Oh, we have done that, we have done that. We haven't checked the oxygen. I'm not sure if this is... We don't want to board the crew.
Bus is coming.
I believe on the co-pilot side, we have an oxygen test. Oxygen supply test that we can do. Main supply on. Turn on. It's working. And we will keep the main oxygen supply on, because that's something we might need if things go bad. Alright, so we are going to eventually do LNAV and vertical speed. And one thing I want to show while the boarding is ongoing, with this aircraft you have two options to engage the sync mode. If I select this, toggle afterburner will toggle the sync mode. And if I do ELT, set ELT, this is the other one that you can use to sync. By sync, I mean you just set the pitch and then the aircraft will follow that pitch for a given vertical speed. So let's do this and let's set this to switch. No, not that one. There we go. In case we need them both. Okay. So now the boarding should start. We should see the passenger bus coming. They already started loading the cargo. There is the passenger bus.
Passengers boarding started.
And our passengers are boarding the aircraft. There we go. I will complete the boarding and bring you guys back for pushback and engine start. Alright, the last of our passengers are now boarding the aircraft. Look at that kid, he must be so excited to fly. Alright, that should be the last of our passengers. Let's go back to the cockpit and finalize our setup for pushback. So first thing, I'm gonna close the cockpit door. Now we have the passengers. Let's close that, go back. Everything over here looks okay. Yep. We are almost done with boarding. Let's turn on our comm radios, even though we are not going to use them due to not using ATC. Terrain display, I'm not sure if that's working on the weather radar to display terrain. Be curious to test it out when we are up in the air. Do we have our ADF radio turned on? Which one was it? This? Okay, that's now turned on to ADF. Now we are pretty much ready. Let's go and take a look at the checklist while the last bit of the luggage is being loaded. So this part done before start. Let's go do this. Departure briefing is complete. Actually, I haven't briefed the departure, so let's take a look at that very quickly. We are going to depart from runway 30 at Tenerife North. And we will fly the runway heading of 295 until 12.6 DME from TFN. This is important, guys, so that's taking this VOR into action. I think the boarding is complete, so let's do this. Let's close, and to close the, let me bring this down to close the stairs I need hydraulic power. Let's retract the stairs. Close the front passenger door, remove the chocks, and we are ready for pushback. Okay, we will fly in runway heading up until 12.6 miles from TFN, make a right turn to 028, and another right turn to 123 to intercept Tenerife VOR, and when overhead, we will make a left turn to 079er. And our initial climb is 17,000, so we should be about 17,000 by Laris. So that's the departure. I will hand fly part of it and then engage the autopilot. Now we have all the passengers. Let's finish the checklist and request pushback. VHF, comm and nav radios are on. Brake pressure is checked and is about 23,000 actually. PSI. Hydraulics are off. Fuel center transfer to auto. That's this switch that will automatically transfer the fuel from center tank, which we don't have any. Ice detection is on. Festal field seatbelt sign should be on. If it's not, we will turn it on. Fuel quantity is checked. And if I go down there, we have 6,000 kilograms on board. Flight data recorder is set. That's this guy here. I don't bother with setting that anymore. You have to put the date in and yada yada yada, so I'm not worried about this. That's the month, that's the day, that automatically carries over, and this is the flight number, 3204. And you can press that to enter, I believe. And that's now set. Anyway, altimeters are set and cross-checked, MWS is reset, light is extinguished, TMS is checked and bugs are set, doors and equipment closed. Okay, engine start, we will go there. Let's request pushback and set up the overhead for engine start. All fuel pumps will go on at this point. Engine anti-ice will go on. Packs will come off. Oh, one thing we didn't do is we did not set our cruising altitude. Let's set the QNH here first, 1021. And then let's set our cruising altitude to 28,000 feet for cabin pressurization. It is now set. I forgot that, but I'm glad I remembered before we left the gate. Otherwise we would have some pressurization problems. And the last thing is to turn our beacon light on, which is just here. Now it's on. Alright, packs will come off for engine start. Clear this warning. Plug is connecting, and according to our flight plan and where we are, we should push the tail to the left and nose to the right, which is this guy here. Alright, we are pretty much ready for engine start. Let's take a look at the checklist to make sure we didn't miss anything. Beacon light is on, packs are off, engine anti-ice is on, fuel pumps are on, TMS is off. Start power is in norm position, start master can go on, and selector is engine 4. And from there it's engine start. Alright, parking brake is released. Alright. We will go ahead and start our number 4 engine and watch for N2 to reach 10%. That's what it says on the checklist. I was always going like this needs to be at 20, but apparently maybe I was wrong. Fuel added. Let's see. Start N2 on, engine doors fuel on, indications stabilized. The indications we are looking for is fuel flow and then ignition, and then N2 increasing at 40%. We should see oil pressure. Those are the indications, and we will just take a look at this in the next engine start so that you know which one to look for at each step. We should have the starter disengaged at this point. Let's go and see. We are going to select engine 3, start, go down, and we are looking for 10% N2. Interesting. Well, that's what the checklist says, so we are going to follow the checklist. Fuel added. It's not gonna show fuel flow until we reach 20% anyway. So we are looking for fuel flow now. Fuel flow, and then we are looking for ignition. By looking to the TGT, there is ignition, and then we should see N2 rotation. Passing 40%, we shall see oil pressure increasing. Let's see. Passing 40% now. Parking brakes are set, and oil pressure is increasing. Now we can select engine number 2 and start engine number 2. Do the same thing. And I'm gonna wait for a 20% M1. This doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's not gonna introduce fuel until we pass 20% M1 anyway. So 20%, fuel in, looking for fuel flow. fuel flow, and then N2 that's ignition, and N2 increasing, passing 40%. We are expecting to see oil pressure. Yeah, you are going to wait a little bit more before I can tell you to disconnect. We have one more engine to start. There is 40%. Oil pressure is increasing, and let's go ahead and start our last engine. Same thing. Watching M1. Missing 20. Fuel in. Waiting for fuel flow. Fuel flow, waiting for ignition. Ignition, waiting for N2 rotation. N2 rotation, waiting for 40% and oil pressure. Coming up to 40%. N2. There's 40%, and we should see the oil pressure increasing. Alright, the starter should be done, and we can now turn the selector to off and the master to off. We will wait for the engines to stabilize. They are all stable now, and we can do our after start close and tell them to disconnect.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Okay. So at this point, we will turn the engine, hydraulic pumps, and PTU on. AC pump will remain on auto. Oh, what was that? Center transfer can stay auto because there's no fuel, it's not gonna do anything. Over here, generators 1 and 2 can go on. We don't need engine anti-ice anymore, we can turn them off. Continuous ignition goes on for takeoff. Starter master is off. Vane and pitot heat can go on now. Engine bleeds will remain off until we are in the air and we are ready to shut down the APU. Other than that, let's go ahead, and because we have done all of this, I'm not gonna sit here checking all the engine starts. That's engine indication stabilized. After start checklist. Let's see if we missed anything. Starter power to norm. Selector is off. Anti-ice is off. Generators are on. Brake fans are auto. Hydraulics are on. AC pump and P2 are all on. All the heaters, P2 M vane on. APU is on. Engine air is off. TMS, that's the only thing I think I forgot. TMS can be turned on and put to takeoff mode now. That is done. Transponder, we can go to TA. Why our brakes are hot? Oh my gosh, this pushback like killed our brakes. Okay, transponder to TA. I hope we don't have a rejected takeoff. Taxi lights can go on. This is down position of this switch. Landing light switch is taxi lights. They are on now. And brakes will be tested on the initial roll. We will set the takeoff flaps to 18 degrees. Oops. There we go. I had some hiccups there. And we are ready to go. Parking brake disengaged. We'll do a takeoff config test, which is this guy. No horn, we are all good. She started rolling with idle power, which is always great. And for some reason, the sync mode is showing on. Okay, now it's turned on. That's probably happened when I was trying to set the button on my controller. But we will taxi like this, reach the runway, do a final check, and then we will be on our way. Alright, that's not the view I was looking for. Anyway, let's not bother with that. I will bring you guys back when we are at the runway. Okay, we are coming up to runway 30. This is kind of the hold short point, I believe. We will pass this and stop at the turn or after the turn momentarily, because those are the runway lights, or yeah. And we will just make sure we are configured properly before we enter the runway and take off. I wish we had ATC, that would have made this video a lot more fun, but well, I could have used Pilot to ATC, but Pilot to ATC does not work well with 146, so it's not an option. Let's stop here, set the parking brake momentarily, and go do our checklist. Alright, before takeoff checklist. Brakes are checked, flaps are selected, flight instruments are checked, flight directors are on, trim is set. I believe we are in the green band. Yes, we are set for takeoff. Config is tested, we have done that. Continuous ignition comes on, which is, we already did that. Cabin is secured. Weather radar. We will put it to weather. We can turn the transponder to TI array now. It's gonna probably be the lights for the rest of this thing. Yep, taxi lights off. Strobes and landing lights are on. TMS is on takeoff. Flight controls are unlocked. MWS is checked. Okay, everything looks good. Let's get up and line up with the runway. This is kind of like a slope, I believe. But we should be fine. And we will switch this to 117.7. That's the Tenerife VOR, and we are looking for 12 miles or 12.6 to make that right turn if we hand fly up until that point to 21028. And do I have my heading bug set to 2905? Let's set the heading bug to... Oh wow, what is this? Alright, that's roughly the runway heading. Let's line up properly. What is that? Why am I seeing the nose of the aircraft? I'm just trying to set my heading bug, and that is roughly what I want. Alright, this is a bit hiccup for the lineup, but we will just set it here. Heading bug is now set. We don't need to set the course because we are not going to use the conventional radio navigation. We will follow the flight director. And that is showing that we are going to turn right. That's towards the TNF, and that's, I believe, is our first waypoint, Tenerife VOR. Yes, after IO23. Alright, we are ready for takeoff. Flaps are set. Everything looks good. Altitude is armed. Transponder TI array, weather radar is good, and we are ready to roll. So what we'll do, we will increase the N1 to about 50%. Release the brakes. And keep adding power. Oh, hold on. EMS is set, but I haven't set the bugs. Now I did. Sorry about that. Now we can go. Now this should set the... There we go. Maintain the center line, little bit of left rudder to keep her checked. We are coming up to 80 knots. 80 knots checked. Release the pressure on the yoke. Maintain the center line. We are drifting a little bit left and right. V1. Rotate. Alright, off we go. There we go. We should see a positive rate. Gear is coming up. We are following the runway heading. Flying out and climbing at about 1000 feet per minute. And we are watching this DME counter to see 12.6. Alright, all looking good, guys. We need to pitch the nose down for flat retraction speed. And we should pick up some speed now. Alright, this is good. We'll keep 500 feet per minute. We don't want the aircraft to pitch up too much and lose speed because we want to retract the flaps. And we are going to be FTO. Almost there.
VFTO, safe height speed, select flaps.
Flaps are coming in. At this point, we can activate the autopilot, which I'm not going to. I'm going to keep this attitude and make sure the aircraft is not pitching down crazy like this. I'm not sure what's happening there. Let's trim up. We don't wanna lose. Alright, that's better. Come on. And we don't wanna pass 250 knots either, so I'm gonna start climbing at 2000 feet per minute. Transition altitude is 6000, so at 6000 we need to switch to standard barometric pressure. We are still accelerating. I'm gonna cut the power just a little bit to maintain speed under 250 and still fly the runway heading. Alright, 10 DME, 2 more to go. This is good. And I think we are looking good. I'm not sure what this white dot is. It keeps coming up there. Let's maintain the pitch. Maybe increase the throttles a little bit. It's good. We don't want to be too fast and overshoot the turn. But so far, we are looking good. At 12.6, let's make the turn. Let's maintain the speed. This is the fun part. Right, we are turning towards 028. If I can set my heading back to 028, that will help me. That's roughly should be it. And after completing the turn, I think I'm going to engage the autopilot. Or maybe not right now, but when we turn towards Tenerife VOR. Let's not bank too much and maintain the pitch. But we are almost there. Let's level the wings, and as you see now, our flight director is showing a different direction to us, but we will, oh, we passed 6000, so let's go to standard pressure. That's set, and let's maintain the pitch, increase the power just a little bit, and see if the aircraft will start climbing on the current trim setting. I think we are looking good. We are climbing. Not crazy. I like this. We don't want to pass 250, so I want to climb a little bit more. And I think it is time to turn the autopilot on. Autopilot is in. Why did we pitch down like that? We should keep the attitude. Let's just do the sync mode. And let's pitch up to 2000 feet per minute, and we passed. Alright, this is the sync. Oh, that's too much, that's too much. That's too much. Don't do that. We want to maintain 2000 feet per minute. Come on. Come on. Why the sync is like getting stuck? It happens all the time. Can't just... Alright, finally. We lost our flight plan routing while I'm trying to battle with the sync mode. This happened fourth time now. It's getting stuck. I'm not sure if it's a bug. I'm gonna try to assign it to a different controller setting. We are about to pass 10,000, so let's go to the overhead and disconnect our, or not disconnect, turn off our landing lights when we get to 10,000, and I'm gonna try the sync mode one more time. Sync, pitch up, not too much, I want 2000 feet per minute, and sync again, please. There we go. Okay, this time it was a little bit easier, but I'm having a hard time turning it off. It's 10,000 here, so let's go and turn off our landing lights, and we can release the passengers, and that is pretty much it. And the vertical speed, I'm not sure why we are not following the LNAV. This is weird. Which waypoint it is showing? It is showing TFN, Tenerife VOR, and that's where we are headed. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the course. No, it can't, because you can't change the course on GPS, it's automatic. We'll see what the aircraft does. We are about to get to that VOR, 2.2 miles as you see here, and we are directly traveling towards it. There we go. Now we are doing something. Okay, maybe that's it. There you go, guys. I guess this is it for now. I will bring you guys back when we are ready to do the descent. Welcome back, friends. We reached our cruise level. Let's go into the cockpit for some silence and talk about what we need to do. As you see, we are at 28,000 feet. Aircraft is now accelerating. One thing I did off screen was to move to the sync mode. That will sync to engine 1, and we are currently at 91% and 1. What we will do for cruise is we will move to the TGT mode, and this is the target TGT, and we are going to aim for 780 first to see where it puts us. And the engines should spool down, and that's going to be our cruise setting to see where it gets us. So we are going to watch our speed. We don't want to pass and overspeed the aircraft. I can set the speed up. I can set the speed bug to where I want it to be, and we want like Mach 7, and this orange donut shows that we are below that speed and we need to accelerate. When it's here at the center, that means we are at the target speed. We will see if the set TGT will get us to there. If not, we will increase the TGT and select the TGT mode again. Every time you touch this, it disengages automatically, and you have to select it again. And let's see where we end up with this speed setting. The other thing I did was 113.3 is the Marrakesh VOR. We set that, and we need to calculate our top of descent. We need to descend down to, current altitude is this. We will sync the ground speed. Our target altitude is going to be 3,200, and we will want to descend at 3 degrees, and that's the top of distance. Top of descent distance is 78 miles. This should eventually go down, and we will see that. That's 78 miles from where we want to be, I'm sorry. So we need to start descending 78 miles from the VOR. Are we picking it yet? No, we are not picking the signal yet, so we still have some time to go. We are not quite there yet, but we will eventually start picking up the signal and reading the DME, and according to this DME at 78 miles we will initiate our descent. According to this, that's what we want. And that's the desired vertical speed. This is probably going to be about 2500 feet per minute, or we will slow the aircraft down. We don't want to descend at this ground speed, but we will see. We will do those calculations when we get there. So TGT is getting us close to our target speed. We are still accelerating. I will keep monitoring this and let you guys know where we ended up when I bring you guys back for descent. See you in a little bit. Welcome back, friends. We are coming down to 10,000 and we are closing to the entrance of the DME arc. I wanted to bring you guys back to do a couple things, because when the DME arc is flown, I won't be able to do a lot of things. So we will start with the approach checklist. I believe I completed the descent one. Altimeters, we will set them, but we will start the APU. That's the first thing. Because we will use the APU bleed air instead of engine bleeds. When the APU is started, we will turn the bleed air, and when we are flying the approach, we might turn the engine bleeds off. That's the DME. This is gonna start increasing, and we'll get to 20, and we will use the heading mode to fly the arc and switch the nav source to conventional navigation to see the VOR, and the course, the final approach course is 279er, which we discussed. Okay. Altimeters, we pass below 10,000, almost there. I will set the altimeters when we are below 10,000. Let's check the METAR. It is 1018. Alright. Let's see. APU is on. We can turn the APU generator on and APU air on. At this point, we really can just turn off the engine bleeds. We don't need them anymore. 10,200. Let's go back to the checklist and we'll keep it there. We are coming to the arc very shortly, so we need to be a little bit fast. Passing below 10,000, landing lights will come on, and we will set the QNH to 1018. That is now set. APU is running and we can do the checklist. Oh, seatbelt signs can be turned on. Custom APU is started. Brake fans are in auto. Fuel panel is set. Cabin is warmed. Radio altimeter. Okay, so the decision height is 445. We will set it to 450. This is the MDA. That's set. Anti-ice is not needed, and that is the approach checklist. So we are almost at the arc. I'm getting ready to switch to heading mode. I'm just waiting for the aircraft to see the 20. Aircraft will fly this route though. It's in the GPS, or it's in the FMC. I just want to fly it by hand to see how accurately we can follow a 20-mile DME arc with the heading mode. For that, I need to set my heading one more time to our current heading. There we go. And we are almost there. Speed is creeping up, so I'm gonna cut the throttles. I forgot that we passed below 10,000 and we need to drop the speed below 250. So I'm going to cut the throttles quite a bit, and we are getting to the arc. Are you turning? Oh. Okay. We will switch to the heading mode here in a little bit, guys. Sync the heading and then switch to heading mode. There we go. Now we are on the heading mode. We should now get close to the arc and fly the arc. I'm just trying to see 20 here. And we can switch this to combination of navigation and to 7-liner. And we are entering the BME arc here. The altitude is looking good. Speed though, I probably need some speed brakes to slow the aircraft down. We are still faster than 220. I'm gonna cut the throttles quite a bit to slow us down. And that's the DME. So I'm gonna start using my heading bug to slowly turn us so that we follow 20-mile arc. We are already drifting away from it, so let's turn and get close to the arc. This should get us here, and we need to set our landing speeds for full flaps. Should fly the arc. Are we still on the heading mode? Yes, we are. I'm not doing a good job following the arc, are we? Am I? Well, I should get back there very shortly. Right, we passed below 250. I will take the speed brakes off and give her some thrust. And let's see if we can get back to the arc. This turned to be a 21-mile arc instead of a 20-mile arc for me. But so be it. Trying to hand fly this thing as much as I can. Oh, there we go. We are now getting closer to the arc. And I need to follow that yellow dot with my heading bug. That's what I need to do. We are back on the arc. Right, let's sync the heading and level the aircraft. We don't want to go too crazy. We don't want to lose the arc. Alright, just a little bit more. Should be fine. It's alright. It's going to be a huge deal. We are also getting close to our turn. That is the turn.
2500.
Alright. That's the radio altimeter started reading. Let's say that I didn't do a good job flying the arc properly. But we are getting close to making that turn now. So which means we can go BL, which is the localizer. I think this is it. And the aircraft should follow the localizer signal from here. Alright, now we need to think about slowing down and setting the flaps because we are getting close to the airport now and to our target altitude. We should slow down, and I didn't take a look at the speed. Speed creeped up about 250, so that huge clamshell speed brake again to slow us down. give us enough time to make the turn and not overshoot it. We will overshoot that a little bit, not a whole lot. I'm gonna set my heading back to my final approach course of 279er. Alright, so the speed is now looking good. Throttles are idle. And we are coming to 3200. We should see the airport here in a little bit. And we should slow down a little bit more, start thinking about the flaps. We are at 18 miles to the airport, we still have time. This is not gonna be too bad. We should see the airport in the distance over there. We overshot this turn a little bit.
Speed checked below 205, select flaps 18. Speed check below 205, select gear down.
Flaps are selected, flaps 18. Now we need some thrust to maintain the speed and don't go below stall speed. I'm not quite ready for gear down yet. We will drop the gear down eventually. Let's see where we can, if we can spot the airport. Is that the airport? It looks like it. Yes, that looks like the airport. Okay, we are still quite a way. I'm not gonna drop the landing gear until we pass below 10 miles to the airport. I'm gonna keep my speed up and give her some thrust. And let's pull the landing checklist. AC pump should be turned off. Oh, it's on auto. Landing gear, we will wait for that. Oh, we still keep slowing down. Let's keep adding power. I don't want to slow down too much. Keep the speed at this white bug. Right. We are getting to the initial fix at 9.5 miles. That's our final fix, and we should start descending into the airport for landing. Speed is looking good. 15 miles. A bit more to go. It's too early to drop the landing gear. It's not just yet. We'll keep the speed like this. Accelerate too much too. Till after I see the airport. Airport should be right in front of us. I don't know if we have some strong winds, because we are not eyeing the VOR. We are slightly, ever so slightly turning to the right to intercept, I guess. But I still don't have a visual of the runway. Is it there? Could it be? To tell. Yeah, that is the runway. Looks like it. Perfect. That's looking good. Speed is good. 13 miles. It's our own. Looks beautiful outside. A little bit too brown, but still beautiful. Alright, let's cut the throttles back a little bit. Speed is creeping up. We don't want to speed too much. We'll maintain like 70% M1-ish. It's better. I have a visual of the runway. At this point, I can even just cancel the autopilot and fly it myself. We have too many things to do, so I'm gonna keep the autopilot mode for a little bit more. Good time, more time for landing checklist. We don't want speed to go below that red bug. Speed around 185, 86, or even 90 if I can. But looks like we are maintaining 186 now with this thrust setting. Average speed looks like around 123, 124 knots. Miles to the airport. We are lined up with the runway very nicely. Looks beautiful around here, isn't it? Yeah.
Speed
0.5 miles.
180. Select flaps 24.
Autopilot disconnected. I'm gonna start descending slowly. The gear is down. We'll go flaps 24 and initiate the descent towards the runway. We don't need to descend too crazy. We just need to maintain a steady descent until we are comfortable with where we are going.
Speed checked below 170. Select flaps 30.
Flaps 30 selected. A little bit using the pitch. So let's keep descending. Looks better. I think we are trimmed for a descent of 500 feet per minute just now. That's a little bit too much. We don't want to descend too fast. Push the nose up just a little bit. Alright, speed is looking good. They are steadily descending. I can't see the puppies yet. I see an aircraft on approach from the opposite side of the runway. See the puppies? They are showing 4 white. Okay, let the aircraft descend a little bit faster then. Catch up the profile. Guess we are now catching up to it. Set the thrust to about 55. No, we don't want to pitch up too much. We want to keep descending. There you have the loading bag or whatever you name it. All of a sudden we started to see a lot of buildings. I'm off to the right a little bit, so I'm gonna correct my heading. Still reading 4 white puppies, so I need to descend a little bit faster, I guess. Let's let the aircraft do its thing and descend down. I'm gonna go final stage of flaps here. We don't want to do sync rate. Let's correct ourselves. Okay. 500 checked.
Minimums.
Continue. Till now I'm seeing 2 red, 2 white. On the puppies, I can just pitch up a little bit. I don't want to sink too much. And control the speed. And come in like this. Alright, that's too low. Give it some thrust and pitch the nose up. We will be alright. Okay, too white, too red again. I might have to use some right rudder on touchdown to correct my nose. But this is looking good, speed is looking good. Gently, it'll go down. And I'm not looking at puppies anymore. I'm just looking to the end of the runway.
40,
Cutting the throttles.
20, 10,
Should touch down any minute. A little bit for the landing. But speed brakes are out. Let's maintain center line. And that should slow us down. Okay, which exit I need to take to go to the apron? I think this is the exit. Let's just brake. And we will probably have to take the next one. This is not an exit for us. And we can just bring the
80 knots.
speed brakes in and probably roll towards the end of the runway. And use the next exit to vacate the runway. Alright. I think we did it, guys. All of this I think we have completed. And this can be our exit to vacate the runway. Let's slow her down. We vacated the runway and headed towards the apron. Now we can take a look at after landing checklists. Air brakes and spoilers are in. Flaps are now coming up. Flight directors can go off now. Lights, taxi lights are on. TMS can go off. Make sure I'm on the taxiway. EMS is off, weather radar is on standby, transponder TA, engine anti-ice was already off, continuous ignition is off. Yes, I never turned it on anyway. And that's the landing checklist complete, so we will taxi to the apron and I'll bring you guys back when we are ready to park. Alright, we are almost at our parking spot. We are following this EasyJet who is going super slow to make the turn to our parking spot. We are going to be parking to stand A4. That should be right after this Wizz Air over here. We should... What is he doing? He is darn too slow, man. Alright, we have a couple more 100 feet to make the turn to right towards our parking spot, and I hope this guy finds a place before we do and gets out of our way, because he's traveling at 8 knots. That's not the appropriate taxi speed. I guess he can go a little bit faster than that, but he's down too slow thanks to GSX, I guess. Oh no, not GSX, I'm sorry. This is FS traffic. We have just a little bit more. It's about 10, 11, and after that it's our right turn. That will take us to apron P, which is over there. And we will get to our parking spot. I hope this guy is not going to where we are going. Keep following this guy, and sorry about this taking too long, guys, but if you want to fast forward to parking, feel free to do that. As we are coming up to our turn after this, we will be turning right to our parking spot. And I hope... Oh, go away, go away. Yeah, go away. Let's give this guy a way so that he can just leave us alone. Go away, please. Is that our turn also? I'm afraid it is, yes. So he was parking to the same place that we are parking. Alright. I guess this is what happens when you are at a busy place with a lot of aircraft landing when all at the same time as you in real life. You have to follow them, and I don't think they taxi this slow in real life anyway. Alright, we are coming up. I hope this guy doesn't take up our parking spot, because it's not for him. It should have been reserved for us. He should be turning left. No, what is he doing? Or he's following the taxiway. Alright, anyway. Now we are close. We are looking for A4. That's A1 and A2. And then A3 is the next one. Which is this. Oh, that's 2. He's parking to A3. Okay. Yeah, go away. Parking to A4. Let's turn our transponder back to standby. There's A4 right there. Should see a marshaller looking for us. Let's make the turn and hope that the marshaller is there. Oh, there he is. Yes, there is a marshaller. Great. And this is a gate. Interesting. Okay. Let me stop to see those numbers. It should be it. Also, it should be on the... Yep. He's calling us to pull forward. Tell us to stop. You are a little bit late, buddy. Parking brake set, and let's take a look. Taxi lights are off. Pressurization, we are depressurized. That's over here. Yes, 0. Hydraulics, we can turn off the hydraulics. Off. PTU off, AC pump off. And this is shut down. We still need to let the passengers out. Generators 1. Interesting. Alright, let's just kill the engines first. Won't get hydraulic power from the engines anyway, so we will keep this 2 on. And we will shut the engines down.
Cabin crew, doors to manual and cross-check.
The beacon light off. Up here. Aircraft, we'll put the chocks on. And then we will open on doors. There's cargo compartments, and then we will request deboarding. What are you doing? We are already parked here. Interesting. Alright, we'll leave it at that. So there you have it, guys. We finally reached our destination. Engines are shut down. GSX generators are now offline. These are off. Circulation valve can go off. We are assuming that our passengers are leaving the aircraft. Fuel pumps except left inner can go off. We can actually request ground power and completely get rid of the APU. Power is on, APU generator off, APU off, APU bleed off, XR off. Coming here, yaw damper, autopilot master, anti-skid, yellow green lift spoilers are also off. Brake plans are off. We are parking here. The brakes will cool down while it's parked. MWS can be disarmed again. Transport can go to off position. It is. You can shut this down. Get the lights off. This too, that too, that too, that too. And generators are off. Reset position. Flight deck emergency lights are off. Seatbelts off. No smoking off. Cabin emergency lights are off. And that's it, guys. For the rest, you just turn off the remainder and you're done. Thanks for being here. I know this has been a long video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a like. If you are not a channel subscriber but stumbled upon this video, consider hitting that subscribe button and subscribing for future videos. Again, thanks for being here, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.